Well, my name is Amalia, and I'm writing a book called The Fall of Delagiel, which is about the dialectic of the sacred and profane, but the vehicle is a tale of high adventure, espionage, and murder most foul. A science fiction novel, you could say, although it has none of the hallmarks of science fiction as far as the narrative goes. The science fiction element is that there is a naturally occurring antibiotic that people have access to. The presence of this naturally occurring antibiotic, which is a commodity in the book, causes wars. It's mostly about a war between two religions, although it doesn't start out as a war. It starts out as espionage, turns into a war. The antibiotic is only being produced in one place, so they have, in that culture, complete control over the production of it, and anyone else has to pay exorbitantly to get it. They have a monopoly. When you have medicine that people sorely need, then any people will do anything to get it. And if that is put economic pressures on or go to war over, that's true in our world as well as theirs. People need medicine. So if a culture has a monopoly on the type of medicine, then the other people will do anything to get that medicine. If anything, it's social critique. And one of the things that I was interested in doing with the book is showing how, beyond control of the characters, the people who are the poorest segment of society are continually exploited by those at the top. I guess I would say the moral is that life isn't fair. One of those cultures has a caste system similar to modern-day India, where there are castes within the society, some of which are more prestigious than others. So that has a parallel to the real world, because most cultures have social stratification that is somewhat economic in basis. So the main character is named Burabai, and he is sort of like, if you can imagine the CIA, he is an agent in an organization that is not unlike the CIA. And his job is to go and steal the technology to make the drug that everyone needs so badly. For the Empire, who is not the culture who has the drug. Mousefoot, who is his best friend, is a thief and smuggler who he takes along with him on the mission. There's also the leader of the Empire, the ruler, who is the Empress, and between Mousefoot and the Empress is the dialectic of the sacred and profane. So Mousefoot is an untouchable. She is the lowest caste of their society. The Empress is absolutely the highest. So Burabai, in trying to find a space in between them, is exploring these extreme opposites. And much of the book is about him trying to choose between these two things that, in his mind, are opposites. I ended up running it as a dice game, where you could be a person inside this world, and it's based on the world of the book, except I used Dungeons and Dragons rules, so you have access to magic and all those things that aren't present in the book world. The thing that the game does for me is that hearing other people talk about the subject matter gives me ideas about the way characters would talk about the subject matter of the book. Some of the characters have made it into the book. I had to completely change them in order to make it fit, but people have come up with names that I really liked. Like, there's an untouchable who became a main character in the book, but started out as a game character named Patches, and I liked the way the character was created so much that I inserted them into the book, even though supposedly Patches shouldn't have been alive for another 75 years. But first of all, I thought of the idea 10 years ago, and I've been thinking about the idea for a decade. I started writing it multiple times and then threw away everything I'd written over and over again. It wasn't until last year that I actually was happy with anything I wrote. So the idea had a lot of time to form before I was able to ever put pen to paper. Or type on the computer, actually. But it's a lot of hours. I tend to work in the middle of the night. everyone else is asleep, I sit at my computer typing for hours. I tend to write in binges where I'll write like 50 pages in over the course of a couple weeks and then not write anything for a couple weeks. It's the best thing I've ever done. Anything, I went to college for art. Anything I did in my undergraduate art or anything I did outside of the book is not as good as the art I am making and the book, like, as a whole. The drawings I've done in combination with the writing, I think, is the best work that I've ever made in my life. I'm proud of what I've done, I would say. And I think that, you know, the next step is publishing, which I've never tried to publish a book before, so we'll see how that goes. But everyone who's read it has said I should try to get it published, so. This interview is over!
Okay.
Rah!